Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I am your host, YouTube Silent Limited, never duplicated, superstar Mr. Main Event himself, Tim Vicious. And gonna go with Raw this week. Was in Raw, Des Moines, Iowa. You know, I thought I had a clever Slipknot joke on there, but pretty sure a good portion of the viewers may not get it. So, for the sake of moving forward, we're not going to do it. And before we get into the show, just like always, we're going to switch gears, talk about last week via the SmackDown Rewind, and the big highlights from last week's SmackDown. Well, it started out with the Bloodline coming out. Roman, Jimmy, Solo, and of course, my savior himself, Paul Heyman. Roman addresses the crowd, has them acknowledge him, talks about on how addresses the fact that Randy Orton's back, and then the big thing that he goes over is saying, addressing who's going to be the next heir to the Bloodline. And Jimmy, help me in acknowledging your brother as the heir. And you could just see Jimmy's face going from, yeah, it's gonna be me, it's gonna be me, it's gonna be me, to, wait, what? Like, wah, 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 kind of look on his face. And so Solo Sikoa is now the heir to the throne. Is now the heir to the tribal line. And as that's going on, then Randy comes out, congratulates, throws out a few congratulations out there, looks at Roman, and then, Roman, I acknowledge you. Congratulations on everything you've done, on where you've come, where you started to where you're at now. It is absolutely great. You are an absolute legend. But let's not forget, I am a legend killer. And then goes, pops for an RKO, and then backs off. You just see Roman drop down like that. And Randy then, you know, Roman, voices in my head, they're telling me they're pretty sure you crapped yourself. So, may want to get some fresh drawers, and I'll see you later. Boom. Fast forward to later on in the show, we see Jimmy Uso talking to Roman in the back, saying on how, you know, he could take out Randy if he wanted to, you know, just all he'd need is just to have the word thrown out. Really? You could take him out? Yeah, I can get him, Moose. No problem. Alright. Wise man. Yes, my tribal chief. Have it done. Yes, my tribal chief. So then, and I'm paraphrasing a good bit of this, mind you. Or not a good bit, a majority of this, mind you. And then, we see Randy and Jimmy Uso as the main event of the show. Randy obviously gets the win, and then Jimmy and Solo start doing a beatdown. Roman's watching. LA Knight comes out, decks Roman from behind, goes in, starts cleaning up house. Then it starts to become a 3-on-2 beatdown, and then lo and behold, music plays and everyone stops dead in their tracks because it's the return of none other than Uncle Alan himself. AJ frickin' Styles has returned. He comes out of nowhere, pops a phenomenal form, cleans up house. You see all the faces in the ring standing loud, proud, tall, and the Bloodline outside the ring like, what the hell? And then AJ right out of nowhere, wham! Decks LA Knight and then just whiffs back his hair ever so elegantly because AJ Styles' hair is made of sunshine and unicorn rainbows. And then just walks along. All the while Randy's just like, the hell? What? This is my stick. That's my shtick. Did AJ Styles just steal my bit? What? So yeah. So the other highlights from SmackDown was Carmelo Hayes won against Grayson Waller in the U.S. title contenders tournament. Really great showing for Hayes. I know some people may not watch NXT because it's developmental. Some look at it as developmental. Some may go and look at it and say, oh, it's just like Farm League. It's, you know, it's where they go to get some time under their belt before they go on to Raw or SmackDown, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Either way, if you're not familiar with Carmelo Hayes' work, highly recommend you watch some of the stuff that he pulled off in NXT. Honestly, the dude was under my radar until he came into NXT. And then I started looking at some of his indie stuff and woo. Yeah. I definitely see this dude has got it. He's got that unintangible it factor on him. So when he says I am him, he ain't joking. It was a great match, really dug it. Excuse me, great match, really dug it. Hayes got the win. And Kevin Owens had a US tournament match also against Austin Theory. Really good match, you know. Theory had his working boots on. He was like, God, no! Ain't seen Theory work like that in a minute, but it was good to see. Owens got the win, so the next round in the tournament is going to be Owens versus Owens versus Hayes. Easy for me to say. And yeah, so I'm conflicted on that one. Either way, had Damage Control do a backstage vignette where Bayley announced she's going to be in the Women's Rumble. Io runs the women's division. Asuka and Kairi are back as the Kabuki Warriors, and they're going to go and dominate the tag division. And they're going to start tonight with a match against Michin and Zelina Vega, which they did have. And decent match. It was good for seeing a return of the Kabuki Warriors. And Kairi got the win doing the insane elbow. And good God almighty. Listen, Randy Savage, hands down, all-time favorite. Absolutely loved seeing the elbow drop Macho Man did. But Kairi Sane's elbow, oh my God, it's a thing of freaking beauty. Just cannot go over that enough. Just wow. Yeah, wow. So, other than that, yeah, that's pretty much that was pretty much it for highlights from SmackDown. So, with that said, let's get into this week's show. Raw, Des Moines. It starts out with the Judgment Day coming out. Just as they're hyping up what matches are going on, then we see R-Truth come out, which, again, R-Truth is such a goddamn national treasure. You cannot get mad at anything R-Truth does. Like, listen, seriously. R-Truth has got like a direct line to my funny bone. The dude is just pure gold. So he comes out and he's wearing a Judgment Day shirt. Priest and Finn and Rhea and JD and Dirty Dom, and then he put on masking tape underneath and R-Truth. And then he's hyping up on how, you know, last week when y'all beat me up, that was initiation, right? I gotta be honest though, kind of hurt a little. If I didn't know any better, I'd swear y'all didn't like me. And then JD McDonagh got in his face, which JD with his hair wet and slicked back, wearing a bandana backwards, looking like, okay, just, if you could just get a video of him walking around all day talking to people with Offspring's Pretty Fly for a White Guy playing, I guarantee everybody would wind up getting it. Just looking and be like, yeah, that surprisingly clicks with that look he's got going. If you haven't seen Raw, Seriously, look at how JD was dressed before his match, and then just picture that song from The Offspring, Pretty Fly for a White Guy, and you get my point. Either way, excuse me, JD winds up getting in his face. Truth, none of us like you. You're not in Judgment Day. So you know what I propose? I think we should have a match. A Miracle on 34th Street fight. Truth, we already have that scheduled. Oh, really? Well, come on, let's go. It's going to be a minute to get all the way to 34th Street. Hey, Siri, how far is 34th Street from here? And it, like, I'm done. Yeah. Priest wound up breaking character, like he turns like like that. Yeah. But trying to get back in serious. Okay now. JD winds up getting into Truth. No, we already had that scheduled. So you and me, we got a Miracle on 34th Street fight. Alright, so how about this? Loser leaves the Judgment Day. And then Priest, you know, that don't sound like a bad idea, Rhea. Damian! Alright, let's get this going. So we wind up getting a match. Nice good bit of back and forth at the start, nice good bit of back and forth at the start. Dom winds up standing ringside Dom winds up being ringside for JD the whole time. Truth starts to lead a little bit post-break, or not for a little, but pretty much for a good portion of the post-commercial break. Good match. Crowd got hot when Table came out and when Truth went to go and emulate his childhood hero, John Cena, doing John's infamous 5 moves. And match came to an end when JD wound up having Truth sitting on the top rope, and then he went to go climb up, and then Truth just threw him off with Truth on top of him, and they both splattered right through a table. 1, 2, 3, ding, ding, ding. Your winner is R-Truth. All is right in the world. R-Truth won a match. They fast forward to later on in the night. They did say, nah, JD, you're not out. You're still in the Judgment Day. For now. But Finn, Damian, and Dom were messing with him. Something fierce like, dude, you lost. You lost to R-Truth. I mean, it could be worse. Remember when you got that RKO from Randy at War Games? Or when you had this? Or when Damian had you up against the wall, like, hey, guys, come on now. Like, so, yeah. Next up, we got The Miz going against Gunther for Gunther's Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. And for those who may not have heard last week, they did add the stipulation, if Miz loses this match, he can no longer challenge for the Intercontinental title so long as Gunther's champion. So, and Miz put his working shoes on right at the start, going to soften up Gunther's ankle, and doing that for the first portion of the first act of the match. And then you see at one point when they go to commercial break, right before they go to commercial break, see Gunther go for one of his chops. They're outside of the ring. Go for one of his chops. Miz move out of the way. Wham! Hits the ring post, and you just see Gunther with his hand the whole time, and he works and he shows that throughout the rest of the match. You know, but Gunther, like I said, he leads into the break and good bit of post, and it pretty much just gets one-sided after the second commercial break, where it's Gunther just like, alright, I had enough working with you now. Now I'm just going to straight up knock your ass down. And then just starts going to town on him. And all the while, he's working like, God, this thing hurts. Like that. Match comes to an end when Gunther, he winds up taking control. Just like I said, he just goes, hits the brake, said, alright, I'm done playing around. Goes, knocks Miz 6 ways from Sunday, hits a Rainmaker clothesline, which made the internet go nuts. Like, oh my god, Okada's confirmed for WWE. Like, dude, if he does show, okay. If he don't, again, okay. But either way, I'm hoping that those people that were saying that stuff were joking. I know a good bit of dudes that I know were, but some are probably going to take that serious. Either way, Gunther knocked Miz 6 ways from Sunday, hit him with the powerbomb, 1, 2, 3, that was it. Then Gunther winds up, later on we see Gunther talking to Imperium, talking to Ludwig and Gio, basically saying, you two need to straighten your shit out. I'm going to take a few weeks off. When I come back, y'all better have your acts together. So next up we got women's tag action. Kayden Carter and Katana Chance going against Chelsea Green. Trying to do my best Samantha Urban impression. And Piper Niven. And this for the women's tag titles. Nice action with Kayden and Katana leading into the break. Or not break, I'm sorry. Wade. Sorry folks. Wade decided to go and try and do a gag on me halfway through the show. Messing up my cue cards. They were leading up until Piper came in, and then it was just them leading. Then it was Chelsea and Piper leading up into the break. Post-commercial break, Kayden and Katana were leading. Decent match, kind of went at a normal rate and speed for women's tag action. Match came to an end though when Kayden and Katana did their finish. They call it the after party on the Chelsea. Then big splash. 1, 2, 3. That's it. So your winners and new women's tag team champions, Kayden Carter and Katana Chance. They showed backstage segment with Kayden and Katana seeing some of the other girls that are looking to challenge for the tag titles like Zoe and Shayna, Natalya and Tegan, and such. Personally, I wouldn't mind seeing Isla Dawn and Alba Fire getting them belts back. That's just me though. Just saying. Next up we got Ivar going against Akira Tozawa, and this came to be because at one point you see Akira going to Adam Pearce saying, I want to talk to you. And then we see him talking to Master Gable. I challenge for a match tonight. I want to go big. Okay, what are you going to do? I'm going against him. And you see Ivar and it's like, and Gable's just like, Tozawa. Listen, when I said go big, I didn't literally mean go against guys that are bigger than you like that. Too late. I'm off. And then he goes. So it's Ivar with Valhalla at his side, going against Akira Tozawa with Maxxine Dupri at ringside. And Tozawa, he's going quick, trying to hit as hard as he can, doing quick striking game, but it's pretty much just a fight to punch up, and Ivar's just like, yeah, I'm not doing this. Wham! It was almost like seeing Perfect Cell attack Hercule in Dragon Ball Z, just wham! Like that, and like, ooh, ooh. But it was like a nice kind of ooh, because you wanted him to win. You wanted him to win. He didn't, but you wanted him to. Ivar got the win by doing a World's Strongest Slam while sitting on the second rope. This came to be because at one point when he went to go up to go do like a splash or a moonsault, I'm not quite sure which one, Tozawa stopped him. He went to go for a head scissor, for a Frankensteiner off the top, got down, was like, uh-oh. Ivar hoisted him back up, stood him up, scooped him, and then BAM! Dropped him. So yeah. Now we got Ludwig Kaiser going against Jey Uso, and this came to be because lo and behold, folks, I'm not the only sexy mofo out there doing wrestling stuff, wearing Santa stuff. Kofi Kingston came out as Kofi Claus, giving gifts to all the good little boys and girls out there. And then wouldn't you know it, those dirty rotten Scrooges, Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci start beating the crap out of him, and then he's saved by main event Jey Uso, wearing a very blurry Yeet shirt, which, upon first glance seeing it, all I could think is, somebody really drunk is gonna have a harder time reading that than somebody sober reading it. That's all. It's weird on how first thing my brain goes to on certain things, but either way. So Jey winds up saving Kofi, and then we wind up getting to here. Ludwig, he's pretty much leading into the commercial break, with Jey leading into the second half of the match, post-commercial break. Really, it was a good match. It was decent, and not only that, it was nice to see Jey getting a solo match, a one-on-one match on Raw, as opposed to like having to go and constantly doing tags or last-minute team-ups and things like that. Because, I mean, outside of his world title shot against Seth, he hasn't really had much time to go and do one-on-one solo acts, so to say, and I want to make sure I say this the right way. I would like to see him show what he can do as a solo performer more. Because I already know he can go. He showed he could go when Jimmy was out with that injury, and he was working with Roman. So I want to see on how far. I want to see him show more on that. But match came to an end when Jey wound up doing a spear and then hitting a splash. And this came to be because Kofi Claus came out and took out Gio, which distracted Ludwig. So now we come to main event match of the night. The Creed brothers going against Damian Priest and Finn Balor with Mommy Rhea Ripley ringside. And Creeds, they were leading at the start with going into the break. Julius, he was a punching bag for a bit, and then Brutus was. And Julius got the hot tag, and good God Almighty. Listen, I know I've preached this to the heavens maybe not hundreds yet. I have on my Twitter, but not on here. But I have preached to the heavens time and time and time again. The Creed brothers are a hell of a good tag team. And I don't want to make this sound negative, but Julius I see a lot of good potential in Julius in a solo run. And I'm not trying to diminish Brutus in any way, shape, or form talking like this. I'm just saying, you just look at Julius and you're like, this kid is way too athletic to be that. He is way too good and to be that green. To be like that. He's only done amateur wrestling. Like, he never worked indies. He never worked in like an independent wrestling pro wrestling company or not. No runs with any other wrestling promotions. It's just like, wow. How are you that good and that hyper athletic, kid? What? I could go on for a while about it, but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna, because I see Wade trying to wheel me along. It's a good match. I really dug the hell out of it. Julius got the hot tag in. Really solid. The match really, to me, felt like the action really picked up more near the end. And it was really good. Came to an end when Priest, he did the South Side of Heaven on chokeslam onto Julius at the end. 1, 2, 3. That was it. And like I said, man, I dug it. I thought this was a damn good show, and you know, I gotta call a duck and a spade a spade. WWE has been on a roll as of late. Not just, oh, since the TKO merger. No, just like the past for a good while. And honestly, it's more so I'm thinking, one part of me is make sure I say this the right way because I got it all jumbled up in here. Honestly, and I'm not trying to make this sound rude or mean, but I think it's because Triple H heading up creative, man. That's it, point blank. He sat shotgun with Vince long enough to see what works, what doesn't work, and the man has his own ideas, and he's not afraid to go and cherry pick ideas and be like, I like this guy. I like what this guy's thinking. Okay, it hit, you know, and so, really, that's my opinion. So, either way, with that said, folks, that is it for this week's show. So please, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the episodes when you can. Look me on the Twitter at Tim Vicious. Also on that Threads and Blue Sky John, Tim Vicious on there as well. Folks, I'm trying to be a little more active on there. I'm sorry if I'm not as active on there as I am on Twitter. But either way, thank you to my executive producer, Ali Ray Penn, who did provide music for this week's show. Make sure y'all check out his stuff. It's on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud. P.A. Enriquez. Cannot emphasize thanks enough for that, man. Thank you to contributor of the show, LFC Laundry, Fighting Championship. A little bit of wrestling, a little bit of man, a lot of attractive women wearing a little bit of nothing. LFC is also on Tubi, so it costs $0 to go and support them, but if you do want to go and throw a few dollars to support some folks, go to whatevernewer.net, get some vicious pants apparel, t-shirts, tanks, hoodies, long sleeves, short sleeves, women's shirts, toddler shirts, and onesies. Perfect gifts for somebody you love, somebody you hate, or a shirt just to give somebody, just to buy a shirt to give to Goodwill so you can keep all your favorite stuff. Excuse me, and don't forget to follow these cool ass guys right on the Twitter, DSB_RB, main event _net, the main event wrestling network, Sergeant Curry Pants, 3 Count Thursday, and D Dyer 1986. And folks, like the shirt says, if you love me, great. If you hate me, well, fuck it.